What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest for the season 3 finale is Los Angeles rapper Domo Genesis. We spoke about Leave the World Behind, our mutual love of horror movies, The Lion King, John Q, his start as a founding member of Odd Future, how his Alchemist tape No Idols was ahead of its time, maintaining consistency in his music over a decade, becoming a big brother to the Mutant Academy collective, and the creative process behind What You Don't Get, produced entirely by Graymatter. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to we made it. It's the end of the year. It's the end of the year. Real Notes is here. Season 3 finale. I can't believe I'm saying those words. Thanks to everyone for all the support this year. It's been still I'm gonna be processing that while I'm like in a Miyazaki coma over the next like 2 weeks type shit. But thank you for everything this year. Big things coming in 2024. Dylan Green, CineMasai, got a lot of names, do a lot of shit. Outside, inside, all sides, all over the place. And you know, I had to come with one more thumper before the year was over. This is one that I've been me and this man must have talked back in like 2018 or sometime around the time Facade Records came out. But you know, like this is somebody I've been a fan of for like damn near a decade, and just like seeing his rise and just like the artistry and just like the camaraderie and just the jokes and the raps and everything and just like the clothes, like yeah, I don't even like, bro, fucking rapper, producer, fucking man, high man extraordinaire. I don't even know how to introduce you, son. Fucking fucking we got fucking Domo Genesis in here, man. This is a really so crazy. Yeah, you know, like What You Don't Get with Graymatter has been out for a while. If you missed it, go find it. It's dope. Like Doms, bro, thank you so much for being here, man. Like this means the fucking world to me.
I had to when my cousin hit me and was like, "Yo, he wants you on." I'm like, "Oh, that's my man." So I'm slide.
Yo, no, that means a lot, man. Like I remember when back in my DJ booth days when I got the chance to write about Red Corolla when it came out, and it just like did my heart so good to see you just kind of like jump back up and just be like, "Hey, I'm still here." Like, and like I'm doing this by myself, and just like it, yeah, just like the journey from OF to there to everything you've done now, and just like the tour with you and Anakin, like Frank's, you know, like that's my man too. So like seeing y'all do that together, just there's so much to touch on here. But first and foremost, I'm gonna ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here, which is what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Ooh, okay. Obviously, I just finished watching Loki, the latest season.
Right.
I really love that show. I love where it's leading to. I think Marvel had like a little dead spot in the middle. After they've been kind of on a real weird hangover after they had those high moments with the like Endgame and all of that. So I feel like Loki is reestablishing their universe in a good way. I just watched that movie. Everybody was trying to tell me to go rush and watch the movie. What's the one that like Barack and Michelle produced?
Oh shit. Remind me what it's about.
They have like it's like an end of a world type movie, and there's like a white family that gets a Airbnb.
Oh, the Netflix joint, right?
Yeah, the Netflix joint. I don't know how I felt yet. Like I finished it. I can't tell you that I all the way thought that was a great movie. Like I don't know. Maybe I gotta see it again. I don't know. I was torn on how I felt about that.
That's funny as hell. I haven't checked it yet, but just based off of reading about it and seeing what it's about and seeing the people that are in it, I might be good. Honestly, like I don't know, bro. I might be.
I'm gonna be fair with you. Like I don't know if I recommend you to walk in like blindly like that either. So, but I watched that like a day ago. So that's like the latest thing I watched.
No, I feel you. Like, yeah, I just like I know. No, sorry.
They just kind of stretched it. I don't know.
Yeah, bro. Like, like post-apocalyptic stuff is like I'm weird with that shit now. You know, like it's because like we really are like inching closer on some like fucking like doomsday clock is like getting closer to midnight type shit. So I'm just like less.
I do
It's
feel that.
because
I feel that.
yeah,
That's terrifying. That's actually terrifying.
right. Like I just there was something oh yeah, no, they put out that trailer for that other joint called Civil War that's being made by Alex Garland that's like I think it's
Uh-huh.
supposed to be like Texas and California like secede from the Union and like go and form an alliance and like the US is like falling apart or some shit. And I'm just like we're like dangerously close to that type of shit happening right now. And like I don't need to
That's some
watch
real
this
ass
as
shit.
a movie. Like
Yeah, I hear you. That's some real ass shit. Like that's not for fake. That's not actually like these are possibilities, especially with how shit is right now and the media and politics. We might have some
right.
real successful shit going on, so we gotta chill.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's just like because like you remember when The Day After Tomorrow came out like back in
Hell
like
yeah.
so like that shit was a lot of fun for me because like it's like as a jit I would never think about like oh like what if the world just got swept up in like a wall of water. Like that was never anything that like terrified me to the point where I'm like I can't watch
Mhm.
this. And like if
Right.
and like if I were to go back and do that now like it wouldn't like I wouldn't be like paralyzed by it, but I'd be like we're like closer to this now than we were 10 years ago type shit. Like
That's a fact. It's really a fact though. Like we see
yeah.
like they had that image in there when I think the Statue of Liberty was like up to the flame and ice or some shit. Like, yeah, no, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to peek that. I hear you.
But like either way, that was like I don't want to call it like a staple of my childhood, but I think about that a lot. Like I remember like when I saw it in the theater and like talking to people about it after. It was just like on some like lazy afternoon shit too. I don't know. It was yeah, like it for some reason it was just one of those. But before I forget, the last thing I saw, I just saw the new Miyazaki joint, The Boy and the Heron. I want to say like what's today, Monday, 2 days ago at this point.
Okay. I'm asleep. You gotta put me on.
So how do I even explain what this shit is about? So The Boy and the Heron, it's it's about this little kid whose mother dies in a hospital fire and they move from Tokyo to the countryside and they're like in this like really nice estate. They got like maids and shit, and there's this like gray heron that's like it's like a big ass bird that's just flying around everything, and he's also like a man like inside the bird. He's like a bird man kind of. So like long story short, they take him like the bird takes him to this like dream world that also like might just be like purgatory where like his
Right.
family like resides over. Just go watch it. I can't explain what this movie's about. Like I like like you with the other shit. Like I watched it and I took it in. It's a gorgeous movie, really well acted, great score, all that shit. But like, it's like I don't know 100% how I feel about it yet because it's like there's a lot of dream logic involved. The story is told non-linearly. It's like it's all over the place in a good way, but it's like it's one of those that you got to watch at least 2 to 3 times for it to really like sink in.
Facts. Facts.
And
I
like
had
it's
I had
yeah.
watched a movie like that, Midsummer. You know Midsummer?
Oh yeah, I know Midsummer.
Yeah, that movie was fucking me up too. I had watched it twice. I'm like, this is a crazy ass movie, bro.
Shit. The one thing I walk away from Midsummer every time I think about it is just like son getting chopped up in the bear suit, in like the bear skin at the
Yeah,
very end. Like
that movie had so many different things going on. Like, it definitely was jarring, and I walked in not knowing what to expect. I forget
yeah,
exactly why. Was it A24?
yeah, it's A24.
And I would like everything they do. So like I was going in just off the strength. Horror movies are my favorite genre. Like so, I was like, yeah, I mean, I like A24 and what they do, but that one caught me off guard for sure.
Yeah, nah, that one, yeah, that one's a head bust. You seen Hereditary?
Hereditary is the one. That is
Yeah,
gas.
yeah, that shit goes crazy. That's my because Hereditary and Midsummer were directed by the same guy, and I
Okay.
think I think I personally fuck a Hereditary more than Midsummer, but that's just me. I just think it was like I think they got at what they were trying to get at a little better. It felt more fully realized, and just like and just like once again, like the ending, just like the kid with his nose broken, just like getting like taken over by
Yeah.
demons and shit, just like so creepy, and just like everything Toni Collette did, like the mom was, like she was going crazy the whole movie, just like really, 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 really well done. I like that movie a ton.
No, yeah, I really loved Hereditary too. Now that you said it by the same person, I didn't even realize that, but it makes sense actually. Um,
Yeah,
but Hereditary was referred to me by one of my guys who's actually a director, my boy Cassianos. He he knows that I love that genre. He was like, "You got to check this one out." That shit is really fire though. Like, highly recommend. 'Cause, even though horror is my favorite genre, it's so funny because they have the worst movies, movie to movie. Like, but when they hit incredible for that, they got so many terrible ass fucking horror movies. But
yeah,
that one
no,
was like one that when people like when you say there's a good one, because I like storytelling. Like my favorite thing is storytelling. I feel like when you get a fresh horror story, it don't be done really too much better than that, in my opinion.
yeah. I feel you. Like that's like like with horror in particular, you want that shit to feel like lived in, and you want it to feel like I feel like realistic's the wrong word, but you want it to feel like tangible and like you're in it because that makes it
Okay.
scarier and that makes the shit hit your chest more. So like,
Right.
what was like what was the last great horror movie you saw? Now I gotta ask.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, Hereditary is one of my favorites. You know what? On Netflix, I watched it. It's just a cool. It was like a cool little. I watched actually the other movie that what's it called? Talk to Me or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Did you see
on
that?
the other A24 one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Like I watched that recently. I wasn't expecting it to be like what it was, but I actually enjoyed that movie. And then on Netflix I watched one little fresh idea I like was that It Follows movie as well. Like that was I actually liked the way that they did that with like the sex demon or something like that. You would have sex and the imagery or whatever you were possessed by will follow you until you pass it to the next person. I thought that was a fresh idea.
Yeah, no, that shit was tough. I saw that when it came out. However long ago that was. That was because I just heard they're about to put out they're not about to put out a sequel, but I think they're making one right now, and I think it's gonna come out. I mean, like the year is almost over, but I think it's about to drop next year.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was a good idea. Thought that was pretty cool. It was fresh to me. I'm getting over the whole horror movie with the time starting every day thing. Y'all gotta stop. They gotta stop that. We can't do that. Every movie's trying to do that.
Yeah, nah, yeah, no, it's definitely starting to get a little samey, and that's part of the reason why I also fuck with Talk to Me too. Like like once again, I didn't think it was perfect, but I also didn't expect it to kind of. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a possession movie, and I knew it was made by the YouTuber dudes who have that horror channel. I can't remember their name
Yeah,
right now, but my homie Sadistic has a song in that movie, so he was telling me about it like before it even came out. So I was like I was gonna go check for it regardless, and like just for it to like be a possession movie that was also like about addiction. Like I wasn't expecting that because like there's like so much like you could see like they were treating the hand like it was a party drug and they were like passing it around like it was a joint,
right.
and then like and then like the other kid who wound up like getting possessed by the demon. Like I'm seeing this and I'm like, so this is also like about addiction and like withdrawal and shit. And I just wasn't expecting it to go all the way there. And even though I
Nah,
saw
yeah.
the ending, sorry, my fault.
No, I was just agreeing because it threw me off to once I started to see that as well. Like I'm like, okay, they turned this into like some good commentary. I thought they did good with that. Like you said, it wasn't perfect, but it caught me off guard for sure.
Right. And then the end of the movie, like I saw that shit coming from a mile away because like of course she's gonna wind up being one of the spirits that goes and possesses other people. But just like the way they did it and like like her, like the fact that they transitioned from her dying to going into the afterlife so smooth, like and then it's just her. Like the ending was fucking great. I love that
Yeah,
shit.
I knew they were gonna do that too, but they definitely that was clean. You're right. They did that. They got that off clean because when she went up to do that, I wasn't expecting it to like. Oh, and it switched over. I'm like, oh, okay, y'all did that. That was a slam dunk.
Yeah, nah, like it was like, and you know, like, considering that was their first movie they ever made, I wasn't mad at it. You know, like like it's tough to make stuff like that, and apparently they did most of it with practical effects too, and like nobody uses practical effects anymore. So like I'm
And
you
I think
always
you know
get
what?
bonus points for me.
I could tell though, like because something like because I really like the practical effect shit more. Like I really like some of the older horror movies for that reason. Like they have like that sense of realness because of that. I feel like sometimes when it's done well and it's like that, I could feel that in that movie. I think that's what got me out from the jump.
Yeah, nah, totally. And like, okay, you ever see either of the Terrifier movies?
I have not, but I've literally seen I've come across them a lot of times. I'm familiar with. I just haven't seen it.
So I caught the second one in theaters. I think it was either like at the top of this year or the end of last year. And like the whole thing is like there's this guy named Art the Clown. He's a murderer clown. That's basically all you got to know about it. But like they use nothing but practical effects. Like his makeup looks super cool. Like it's like a splatter fest. Like it's like a super duper
Okay.
campy, super gory type of thing.
Okay.
It's there's a man. I feel terrible saying shit like this on a mic, but like there's a scene where he kidnaps this one kid's mother, and like the kid comes like the kid comes home, and like her dead body's at the table, and she has no face. He took her face off, and he just like starts like prepping dinner and shit, and just like starts shoving mashed potatoes in this lady's face, and I'm just like it was really just like some like late 80s early 90s like brain dead, like super duper gory horror type shit that I hadn't seen in a
Right.
long time, and
Right.
it just knocked me on my ass, bro. Like that shit
I
was
might have to say I
like,
might have to load that
yeah,
up.
nah. Honestly, if you could find it, it's worth it. Like I was kind of mad that they didn't put it out like on Halloween, low key, but um yeah, it's like the movie itself is about like these two kids who fight Art the Clown, but like he's the draw, and just go watch it. It's nuts. It's such a good time.
Say less. I'm gonna load that joint up.
Oh man, I got you. um so yeah, no, let's run it all the way back with you in that case. Like
Okay.
what's the first movie experience you can remember having? It could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house, like the first thing that comes to mind.
That's a great question. I think like may not be the first, but one of the first things that like I was like introduced to as a kid that I used to watch a lot. Like my mom used to watch the movie The Wiz to the point where like I
Mm-hmm.
learned every song in that joint. Like and I didn't fully appreciate at the time like the cast and what was being done there. Like just in terms for like black people and all that was going on. I just loved the movie, but like growing up, I seen like no doubt how like culturally significant that movie was, and to do the Wiz with all black cast and it being like Mike Jackson, Diana Ross, and all that. Like
Yeah.
I just remember being like loving that movie as a kid, like maybe even before I knew about the actual Wizard of Oz and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's
But
real.
yeah,
What's sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you are good. And I remember one of my favorite as a kid, one of my like most hyped up movie moments of all time is when Pokemon 2000 dropped, and they had the cards that you could get and collect if you went to the movies. I was trying to take people movie pass and go them cards. I'll never forget how obsessed I was about that movie.
Which did, did you get all the cards or just one of them?
I got two of them at the time. I think it was like the ones where they had the Entei and the rest of those. I had two of those. If I'm not mistaken, if that's the same movie, either that was the Entei one or it was the Mew and Mewtwo. But either way, I had two of those cards.
Mm-hmm. um The only I think you might be talking about the third one because I think Entei was in the third one. I could be wrong,
Okay, yeah.
but
So Mew and Mewtwo was the first one. They had the gold cards, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that was it. Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
because I'm like I'm not gonna go dig for it, but I think I still have my card binder, and I'm pretty sure I have that ancient Mew card too, like the one they were giving out
Hey,
and shit.
you know that those like some of those cards now are worth a ridiculous price on the net. Like they go crazy now. I didn't know they were gonna have that value, but I got hella binders too, which is crazy.
Son, like, yo, like every I want to say like every like 8-9 months I'll like go and like dig my binder out and just like look at like all like the I think I got a couple like first edition Pokemon cards just like dug away in there somewhere. I think because I got all the Yu-Gi-Oh movie cards when they put out the Yu-Gi-Oh movie, and like
Right.
I think I might have like all 5 or 6 of those, and just like
Hey, see, look,
excuse me.
we was on our collection wave.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like just like between like the Pokemon shit, the Yu-Gi-Oh shit. There's like man, I don't know if I ever told this
Marketing
story
hit a
before.
little bit harder. Like I ain't gonna lie, even though they got a lot of dough now, like they marketing schemes ain't it's not the same anymore. Like it used to be through the roof.
Yeah, nah. I really do miss when there were like incentives to go to the movies to go like catch the thing. Cause I mean like if you go now, they'll do like you can get like a collector's like popcorn tub or some shit. But like what are you gonna do with a popcorn tub after you go to the movies? You know?
Yeah, you ain't got no
Like
popcorn machine at your house, dude.
like yo,
We gonna
like
put
cause like
some Orville Redenbacher in that thing.
right. Because like son, for me, it's like if you're gonna give me a popcorn tub, at least have it be like, okay, so if you have this popcorn tub and come back with a receipt, your next like 5 things of popcorn are free or some shit like that. I know that would get them no
Right.
bread, but like I don't know, like give us something other than just like I want to like I don't know, like it was
No,
like having the
I 1000% feel you. Like they gotta figure out how to put people back in seats in the movie theater anyway. Like they're getting to the point where you can reserve the small theaters for your family for a cheap price. They just trying to get you in there at this point.
right. And yeah, when I went to go see The Boy and the Heron with my homies, it was like me. I mean, it was like in the middle of the afternoon, but like it was maybe like
I only see movies in the afternoon, by the way, nowadays.
yeah, nah,
I used to be
matinees are
like the
everything.
teenager that used to love the night movies, but like I cannot stand teenagers in the theaters anymore.
Yo, I get it. Like, see, I haven't had too many experience. I want to hear about yours, but the worst experience I ever had with a kid in the theater. I saw. I went to go see this. I went to go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay,
And I mean, like, A, great movie, super fire.
that's a great movie.
B,
Yeah, it's a great movie.
that shit was so crazy. B, there was this little kid next to me who couldn't have been like more than 10 years old. He was on his phone watching TikTok like with the speaker on the whole goddamn movie, son. Like I was like
Wow.
looking over and I'm just like, son, like what like just like why are you here if you're not gonna watch the movie, man? I mean, like, why? Like what why are you wasting my time? I'm trying to watch this movie right next to you, and it's just like literal noise. It was crazy. It was so crazy.
Nah, that's like I can't like that's why like when you said afternoon matinee swag all day for me. That's the only time I'm watching a movie at this point. I went to the local theater I used to go to when I was actually a teenager. I knew it was a mistake. Like I don't even go there anymore. But I went to watch some horror film. I can't even remember exactly. It wasn't good though. I think it was The Nun. Like I think it was like something. I don't know why I paid the tickets to go see that. But I had went to go see that, and it was like a group of like they had to be no older than 14, and they were like, it wasn't even like they were being the worst, right? Like they were having a conversation, but just as loud as you would have if you wasn't at a movie theater, like
Yeah.
to the point where I was like, "Hey, bro, like you know, it's a movie playing in here. Like, what you got going on? Like literally, like, hey, bro, what you about to do after we leave the movie? Like just about that now, bro. Like, now, what are we doing here? I was like, this is the final straw. I'm going to out the way, and I'm going at 12 to 4:30. That's the cutoff.
Damn. Wow. 4:30. Nah,
Cut.
I'm see, I know it's different for you, but I'm still a late night movie dude. Like for me,
I
like my
can't though.
favorite.
Like I cannot do a late night movie. I'm going straight to sleep after 10. I know better. Like I cannot do it. I get comfortable in that seat at 10. It is curtains.
That shit is so funny. Oh man. I think no, like for me, like my favorite time to go to the movies is like 10:30, 11 o'clock when it's like six people in the theater. Like if it's something that I know I'm a love and I don't mind like being by myself watching it, I'm gonna go then. But I also just love like a nice like go catch a movie at like 8 o'clock with like 80 people around you. Like that's like there's like nothing's ever gonna replace that experience for me. But
That's a
like
fact.
but at the same time like few things are better than just like pulling up to a movie with like there's like 20 people in the theater total. You can go get your food, go sit down, watch your shit, and then go out and just like enjoy the rest of your day and like process it and shit. Like it's
No, that's
it's
a fact.
yeah.
That's definitely a fact.
Yeah, nah, like and yeah, like on top of that, like every time I see a movie, when I go out to see a movie, like I record reviews just to like I do these things called I call them minute maids where it's like I just try to review the whole movie in 60 seconds just because it's like a fun like it's fun and just like a challenge to like explain something in less than a minute, like just like
Right.
condense thoughts into less than a minute. So I was like, you know what, let me do this, and people seem
That's
to
a
like it.
challenge.
Yeah, it's tough, bro.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. You always going to try to find yourself going over that time, trying to, especially expressing yourself or something. If you love it too, that's gonna make it even worse.
Right. Like I try hard to just like condense it as best as I can, but like I don't know, like just being able to like talk to somebody and like give them like an elevator pitch on why you did or did not like fuck with some shit. Like that's just I don't know, like that's fun to me. It's like putting a puzzle together and just like figuring out the way to get there. Like figuring out a way to make your point the quickest and like leave an impression. Like that's really something.
That's a fact.
Yeah, nah, it's been cool. But for you growing up and moving on, like can you remember like one of the first movies you saw that really had like a significant impact on you that wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna watch this for like 90 minutes and be entertained by it. Like something that like hit you on either like an emotional or artistic or spiritual tip, like a capital M movie, like the first capital M movie you ever saw.
That's a great question. I mean, the Lion King is up there at OD when I was like a
Yeah.
kid, not knowing you can get emotional off a movie. Like Lion King hit me in the chest, boy. That was hardcore for a kid. Like I wasn't watching too many things. I was tough on my emotions at that point. Um, but nah, like from what movie like really like when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, this is cutting through something else. Like the John Q movie with Denzel Washington.
Denzel?
That
Hell
was
yeah,
pretty.
son.
Yeah, like that was like as a kid, I was like, whoa, like I was very moved to emotion off of this. Like I felt like I was submersed in that man's real life.
Man.
I
Yo,
watched
I
another
so
like similar sad movie to that recently with the actor John Boyega. Is that how you say his name?
yeah, that's how you say his name.
Um, he was in the movie where he played a retired Navy SEAL or something like that, and he went to do a bank robbery. And, like the reasons why he was doing it was because of his the financial aid that you get from being a social security check that you get from being in the service, and he like what they
Right.
made a mistake. There was something crazy to it to where it was like the movie it was the same way. It gave me the same feeling as John Q though. But that dude's a great actor though, by the way.
Yeah, nah, Boyega's fucking crazy with it. I remember the movie you're talking. I don't remember what it's called, but I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, "That looks cool. I want to see that," and I just never got around to it. But I'm a,
Yeah,
I'm a,
you
I'm
should
gonna go
definitely
find that.
tap in though. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, nah, definitely. But going back to John Q for a second, because I've been waiting for somebody to bring John Q up on this shit. Because I had the same reaction when I first saw it. Like the scene where like his kids running the baseball diamond and he just collapses because of his heart and shit.
Yeah,
And then just like I don't know, like there was like a general air, like people were not jacking that movie when it first came out. Like, you know,
and
I don't know why.
I really don't understand it either. Like I don't know. I can't explain that one to you. But you're right. That it didn't have like I feel like it lived better later than it did in its time.
Right, like like all I remember is just like like Denzel holding everybody hostage in the hospital, and I mean like it's Denzel, like like, even if he's in a bad movie, it's not bad because of him. Like he's
Right?
Denzel,
That's true.
but
That's
like
true.
but
That's
like I
true.
don't know, bro. Like that shit really had me fucked up because I think I saw it when I must have been like somewhere between like 12 and 15 when I saw that shit, and like that was like that's some real shit, like he's just like I need to be able to afford to pay for my son's like surgery that could like like make or break his life, like that's like that's some type of see like that's the type of real shit that feels real. I hate to put it like this because I don't want to like trivialize it or like just like boil it down to entertainment, but like that
Right.
feels like a really like timeless story that like I can get invested in and want to see somebody come out on the better side of, but not be like depressed about it after it's over, even though like the reality of it is kind of depressing. Like the fact that like niggas
There's
gotta
no
like
way
rob
like
a
people
hospital, like
saw that. It's nobody, no way people watch that movie saw that kid do that flex at the end, like right when he was about to see his dad go to jail. Like, there's no way. Like, you felt nothing there. Get out of here. Get out of here. That was like, that one hurt. Like, I was like, oh no, what are you doing to me? To this film is attacking me right now.
yeah, bro. It's been so long since I've seen it, but like I remember, like I think I might have watched it at home. I had to have watched it at home. My parents weren't taking me to see no John Q in the fucking theater, but uh, but but yeah, like just like that. That's like from what I remember, beautiful movie, really well done. Like Denzel did great, and like I don't know, like it just worked for me. So like any John Q haters out there, like if you're listening, like tell me why you don't like it. But I'm gonna tell you you're probably wrong because that
Yeah,
shit like that shit went crazy.
I'm agree. I gotta
Fuck
agree
them,
there.
fuck them, son. But but yeah, let's. Sorry, what?
No, I'm good.
Oh, my fault. But yeah, let's jump over to music for you real quick.
Okay.
When did music become capital M music for you? Like when did it become something that wasn't just like a passive thing in the background and just like a like this is music. Like I hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it, all that shit.
So I grew up in a house with my grandparents. Like I used to live with my grandparents, and they played a lot of. I didn't hear a lot of rap music like growing up. I listened to a lot of soul, a lot of R&B, a lot of like things from that vein, like the classic, like black people family music, Al Green
Mm-hmm.
and Nita and Aretha and all that stuff. And I remember like being like very fond of the music back then, like going through my even when my grandfather would play them on his record player all the time, and I just loved those songs. And I remember I used to just go through the vinyls and study the packaging, study like all of that stuff. And then I remember my grandmother kind of introduced me a bit to the other side, like because her favorite rap, she would never listen to rap, but she loved Tupac. Like that's the only rapper that she would rap like that. She loved Tupac. So
That's
it
so
led me to listen to Tupac all the time. Like I used to like listen with her, and I used to love and I what I'm saying, love everything. I used to print out the lyrics I used to remember I used to go to A to Z lyrics.com back in the day and print those lyrics.
real
I
one.
used to print, you feel me? I used to print those lyrics out and like go along with it, like with the raps, and like I got obsessed with it from there. Like I just started. I remember when we first got the desktop, we had I want to say it was a Dell, like one of those Dells with the color backs. Remember those back in the day?
Yeah, bro.
The dude I'm getting the Dell. Um, I we had got one of those, and I remember I was able to like build my first like line wire, frost wire situation. I was just downloading. I was like going through stuff like, what do I need to listen to be like a part of this? And I listened to, I swear, every classic album that on the list that you need to have in the repertoire. I was just checking them off. Like, I gotta hear this, I gotta hear this, and I was just obsessed. I remember just being a student, being obsessed with it at first, and like from that, like from like just having respect for everybody who came before me and all the goats. I'm like, man, like to me, I was like, I could never be like a professional rapper. Look what it takes, look how great these people are. So for a long time, I didn't really believe in it. Like I didn't believe that I would have a place in it at first. Like it took a lot of me like just writing and rapping to my friends, and like I will admit, a lot of people around me that I still have to, like my DJ, my best friend, and like a lot of people that just was there from the jump who was like telling me like, nah, you really could do something with this. I used to just write it for fun. Like, I used to just do it just because it was in my head. And like a lot of people believed in me before I did, that I'm thankful for. They still part of the journey today, which is crazy. So yeah, I kind of fell in love with it that way, and just once I think what really took it off is like when Webb took off, like I had went to college and they went to do a New York show at that time, and I was still in college. I remember being sick. Like I couldn't go like to New York for my first time. I really wanted to do that shit. Like, and that's when it revealed to me when I wasn't able to go. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what the fuck I want to do. Like I can literally tell from the feelings inside of me that there's nothing else that I want to do right now but that.
Dang,
From
son.
that day forward, I started taking that shit hella serious.
Damn. See, okay, there's so much I want to touch on there, but the first thing, why do older black people love Tupac so much, bro? That
I
feels
don't
like
know. They love that man. They love that man. Like it be people that don't like no rap though. Like I swear, but like Pac, yeah, he clears the bar. I don't know what it is.
Yo, I'm just so happy you brought that up, because like my dad, he's my dad's 78. He's old enough to be like my grandfather in any other circumstance, but like I like every time I would talk to him about rap music, I mean like he always tells me stories. Like he's from the Bronx, so like he like saw rap like grow. He was like in his 40s when rap was like
Right.
blow. Or maybe like 30s, 40s, something like that. But like he would tell me stories about people like breakdancing like on cardboard and shit. And the first bro, the first time he saw somebody breakdancing, he thought they were having a seizure. I swear to God, that's what he told me. So like, but like as I got older, I would talk to him about rap music, and he told me he tells me to this day like Dylan, Tupac's my favorite rapper of all time, and I'm just like, tell me why.
They love that man. They love that
They
man.
really
They
do, bro. Like it's just like, like people just find him like, I mean like he's obviously like a real crazy detailed poetic writer, and just like he's just got like a presence, like he's like there's a reason he's an icon, like that word gets tossed around a lot, but like I think he's somebody who like transcended rap and just like became like, he's like an icon. Like you tell everybody knows who Tupac is, even if you don't know the music.
That's facts.
Like that's just like, I'm just so fascinated, like not just and I mean like people like like older black people older than us, like like our parents and grandparents, they love them some fucking Tupac. Like
I think he just represented an idea for them. Like it was like when they wanted to like ball their fists up and hate the young kids and hate like the whole generation that was like dressing with the baggy clothes and stuff. Like he was doing that, but like what he stood for, his mindset and all that made them think like maybe these kids not so bad. Like that really hit them hard as hell. Like, that shit hit them hard. They was like maybe these kids are on to something. Like Pac, he really had a hard hit on that generation though. Ain't no lie.
Yeah, it's just funny because you're not the only person who's told me that before. And the woman who does my hair, shout out to Gail, I love you, Gail. She has this painted portrait in her crib. It's got Tupac, Biggie, Marvin Gaye, Left Eye, and like Jam Master Jay on it. I couldn't tell you why them five are together, but they're just like in a picture. And every time I'm in her crib, I see this picture and it just makes me smile, because it's like it's I don't know, like there's just something about that makes me chuckle every time I think about it. But, yo.
You know they be having them little pictures at the little black farmers markets and shit like that. People would just be crying. Ooh, that's cool. I'm gonna grab that.
Yeah, that shit is funny as hell. It's that one. Okay, one more thing before we move on. So there's this other. So there's this painting. You ever see this painting of Black Jesus before? Because like there's like a there's
Oh
like a
my
very
God. I
specific.
know exactly what fucking picture you talking about. He got the dreads with his hand on his and behind his back. Is
Yeah,
it that one?
you
Come
got
on,
it,
bro.
bro.
I
You
know
got it.
exactly what picture you talking about.
So
Oh,
okay, let me ask you, where was the first place you saw that?
at the Slauson swap meet. I swear to God, that was the first time I ever seen it. I was a little kid. I went to the swap
Yeah.
meet. They had that picture, and it was the incense nigga that had it too. So it was perfect.
That's so crazy. You know, for me, my uncle Harold, he has it in the basement of his house. And like and like, every time I go into the basement, it's just there. You know, like I go see my cousin and it's just there. And like I've talked about this with like I want to say like a couple dozen other people over the years, but like nobody knows who made it. Nobody knows where it came from. Like
That's a fact.
it's just there. Like where did it come from? Like
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
I,
No, I don't know who's the original artist behind the Universal Black Jesus that we united with, but shout out to that man because he got work in the streets.
for real, like you know, yeah, no, he went quadruple platinum in the streets, bro.
He
That's
definitely
like,
did. That man
yo,
painted Black Jesus once and for all.
that shit is incredible, bro. Like I think about it all the time. Like the next time I go over there, I'm gonna ask him like where he because I got all my years I've never thought to ask him where it came from, how he got it, how long he's had it, but it's just there. And
It's
I'm
like,
like,
yeah, you know.
like
The funny part is black people be really like in strong defense of like the black and white Jesus thing. Like I love it to the point where they be like in the Bible they didn't say Jesus look like that. They said Heron. They always say that. Heron, what you think that
right,
is?
right. Yeah, nah, that's yeah, no, I thought the same thing, but you know, we also got Slink Johnson. He's our Black Jesus, but you know, like
Yeah,
it
that's a
is.
fact. Yeah, Slink Johnson, Slinks. Yeah. Hey, that's a great show, by the way.
Yeah, nah, I
Rest
haven't
in
watched
peace,
Black
Charlie
Jesus
Murphy
in
too.
yeah, for real, bro. Rest in peace. Damn, he was their landlord, right?
Yeah. It's
Son,
crazy that
man,
Charlie died. It don't feel like a thing. Like it feels like that sounds weird to even say out loud. Like that didn't happen, dude. Like, that's kind of
son.
strange, man.
What year did that happen? Because it feels like it happened like 20 years ago, and it didn't. Like I
It,
know it was
it
sooner.
really does feel like a long time ago. It had to be like 19? That couldn't have been that long ago. 2018 or something like that.
Damn, it's been five. Man, I can't even like that. That's just I haven't thought about it in a while because I think the last anything Charlie Murphy I watched was he was in CB4. That was one of his like first like early
Oh
roles,
yeah, that movie
and
is so great.
yeah, that movie's a fucking trip. But like I just like I saw like it had been so long since I seen it that I completely forgot that Charlie Murphy was in it. Like all I ever remember is like
Yeah,
Chris Rock and the videos and shit. But like just man, I can't believe it's even been like 5 years since Charlie Murphy passed. Like it's just like a void, you know? Like he was one
yeah,
of one, man.
so crazy, that guy, so crazy, and to see all the stuff that he was writing and behind the scenes on too. Like I was asleep on a lot of it, so like you know what I'm saying. So I seen the credits for stuff. I'm like, hey, Charlie was getting it in.
Like what?
Like he had did a lot of work on a lot of different things. Just to know that he was like like he was getting ready to do I think some movie right or something, some series or something right before that happened. And then I had seen him on. He was like right. It's when I knew something was up. Like I had seen him recently, right before he passed, and something, and he was like super skinny. I forget what it was. Um, but he was cooking right at the time where all this was happening, which is crazy. Like he was getting ready to do a bunch of shit.
God damn. That just makes me so sad. Like
Yeah, that just
uh,
sucks.
yeah. Like I don't want to get too far off topic, but you just reminded me of like how I felt. I remember exactly where I was when Bernie Mac passed away. And
Bro,
like
that's my
I
favorite
was
comedian ever, man. Like I just went through all those seasons recently of his show, like just because, like I would throw them on, like they're good, like late night, like I don't know what to watch. Just throw some Bernie Mac on. He was my favorite, man. Like, he was so great.
Yeah, he was incredible, bro. Yeah, like I remember when the show first came out, and like me and my family, my dad and my sister, we would watch that and Everybody Hates Chris. Like they kind of came on like a little later. Like it wasn't like they were like on at the same time, but
Right.
like that. But I remember where I was when Bernie Mac passed away, and like I also go back and rewatch the Bernie Mac show a ton. Like I was my favorite episode of that whole show is when he first gets the Costco card and he's like starts going to Costco and he gets addicted to bulk shopping and it's just like him in the shed eating snacks and shit.
Yeah, that one was fire. That one was fire.
And
I just
fucking
watched the one where that had me on the floor, bro, where he like a baby girl was playing soccer and like she was a beast and he was trying to get Jordan like follow the Mac man household like and play sports and Jordan did the ribbon twirling and the
right.
gymnastics. That show was so crazy.
He was
That
so
episode
pressed.
was crazy.
Because is that the one where he becomes like a soccer dad too, and like he's like at the games and shit, and is like trying to coach.
Yeah.
And then oh yeah, Jordan joins like the Boy Scouts or something like that, and their mom is like the scout leader, and like they're all at the yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Man, shout out to Bernie, man. Rest in peace, though. Hey, he was incredible, like his stand-ups and everything. Like also he was booming at the time that he was going, like he was doing all his crazy blockbusters. He was in like one of those Oceans movies.
Yeah, no, he was also in. You ever see the second Charlie's Angels? Because he was in Charlie's Angels too.
Oh yeah, he was. He played who did he play? Was he
Bosley.
Yeah, Bosley. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was
he was getting to the bag at the time, man.
Yeah, bro. I was I was at a sleepaway camp and I was like they had this stand-up comedy like class activity thing. So like I was like already like developing a bit. And like he died, like we found out the news the day I was supposed to go perform. So
Jeez.
I'm like, I'm about to go do comedy and Bernie Mac just passed away. So like I think I started my set off like I was just like, first off, rest in peace to Bernie Mac. I think I asked for like a moment of silence, and then I went up there and I bombed. I did terrible, but like shout out to Bernie Mac.
Hey, no, comedy is difficult though. Like I got a lot of boys that go up there and put themselves out there. So for anybody that just like work on their material, have the gall to go outside and like in front of people and try to make a bunch of people laugh in the room, I gotta respect it because people think that's easy. That's not easy, bro. That's really difficult,
bro. You gotta
a lot of people think they got it. Like, nah, bro. You gotta put. You don't just got it. Like there's people who are hilarious on a day-to-day basis. Like go up there and we'll bomb.
Yeah, you got to know how to work a crowd. Like it's all performance, and like some people, like you said, some people are funny, some people can't perform. Like if you don't know how to perform, you have no business being on that stage.
That's true. That's very true. Very, very true.
But yeah, like
I've seen some people's favorite Instagram people be funny and get on stage and not know the mechanics of how to run that show, So
right. Yo, and you just reminded me on the rap side, like there was a period of time I was huge into TJX6. Like he was super dope. He was kind of going crazy. Dark Web was doing its thing. I saw this kid play SOBs. He went on tour. His show was terrible. He had no stage presence. He rapped like 10% of his words. Like I'm not somebody who's like a stickler for needing to rap over like backing tracks. Like obviously you get bonus points if you can do that, but I'm not gonna write your whole shit off if you rhyme over your your backing track. But like it was so terrible. But I had such a good time. It was a good time. It was just a bad. You could tell it was one of his like first shows ever. Like it's just like like it's just crazy to think that like people who pop off on the internet and then people see that they can bring an audience and they just put them on a stage and just like to watch somebody flounder like that is just it hurts almost. Like
I think if people just be finding out hard way that this is a real craft, like it's not for fake, bro. Like you can't go into this A lot of big artists learn that. You know, they have these big worldwide hit singles and get on these festival stages thinking it's light. Like, bro, them it'd be like 40,000 people out there. Like, what are you gonna do to captivate everybody? Like,
Right, like like everybody can't be Playboy Cardi where you got like a fucking like tank on the stage and fire, where like it's
you know what I'm
cool,
saying?
where like where it's cool that you're only rapping like 40 like and like Cardi put on one of the coolest shows I've seen in the last like 3 years. He didn't perform but 40% of his lyrics, and that's fine. Like I'm cool with
Right,
that.
right.
But like,
But it's like,
like
it's like from him with experience, he knows what it takes. You know, he's done that
exactly.
on a scale so big. He's like, okay, I can make up for this with this and do this with that. You know what I'm saying? And other people think they can just go out there and do it, like wing it. Like, no, brother, like this is not. You better get in the lab and rehearse and all that. Like, this ain't for fake.
Exactly, bro. And like that's kind of what I got from seeing the clips of you at Flogna, like not even a month ago, like like you've been doing, you've been doing this for a little minute, and just like I had realized in that moment how few times I'd seen you perform, and just kind of seeing you run through the songs, running through the Graymatter songs, and you just look so relaxed. You just look so like you're just in your element, like you're like you've like I could tell that you put in your 10,000 hours and you just went, and it felt so natural, and it felt so just like I felt like I wasn't there, but I felt like I was there. And like that's what a great performance does to me. Is like it puts you, like it makes you feel like you're, if not in the crowd, or like in the crowd, or like just like the one person in the crowd, and it's just the two of you. Like
Right.
that's shit's crazy to me. And it's like I saw that in there, and I was like, damn, like wow.
First, I want to say thank you for that, because I take that as a heavy. I take a lot of pride in commanding that. But like you said, it's just I'm kind of seasoned at it. You know, like I've been around the ringer, especially with performing for so long. Like I've done from crowds that had 5 people in them to crowds that had obviously that look like that. And I just figured out how to just, you know what I'm saying, buckle in. Like I used to go out there with my heart pumping and you can hear it in my voice, but it's kind of like you said, like I've kind of I take the wheel and I'm like, okay, y'all coming on a ride with me and not letting anything in the crowd, anything can go wrong, but that could never dictate what I do because I'm at the wheel at those moments. You know what I'm saying? Like I just figured out how to command. I can say like even when I'm not giving instruction or anything, just vocally, like I know I can command a big group of people. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just tricks that you learn along the way. I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, bro. And just like, like you mentioned earlier that you knew you wanted to take this music shit seriously, like around the time OF played their show. I think that was the Hammerstein Ballroom show. Was that the show you're talking
Yeah, it
about?
wasn't. Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, like from there, like when excuse me, like elaborate on that a little bit. Like when, like what was that moment like for you? Like when did like what did it lead to directly after that? Like, because I know you dropped out of college pretty quickly after that, right?
Yeah, so I did like 1 year there. Like I went to Arizona State for a year. That year was cool. Like, you know, that was my first bit of like independence and all of that. Um, but I feel like once I seen them go play that show and Most Def and all those people pulled up and it was this whole big thing, and I was like, yo, like I want nothing more but to be doing that. Like that's
Yeah.
all the fuck I want to do right now. So like I remember leaving there, um, and I left Arizona and it was the summer. So I was able to go back with the boys and be in a lab at the studio at Sid's house and all that for a while before this thing, because it was bubbling then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I missed a lot of time when they were like reaping a little bit of benefits of it when it was bubbling. So when I came back, it was already doing its thing. And I was able to just like lock in there, like do some of the stuff for the OF tape and all that. And then like as crazy as it is, like the OF run of tape volume 2 was just like shortly after that. It felt like my life went from graduating from high school, like never ever having put out a project in my life, like ever recording in the studio of my life, into putting in that rolling papers thing that That summer after Rolling Papers, I literally left to Arizona. I was there for a year, and then that year just allowed things to like kind of go boom to where I came back and we went immediately on tour. So like my life went from kind of like a high school kid to college and on the road doing a world tour and like really a year and a half. Like it was really crazy.
Holy
Like
shit.
yeah, it was really crazy.
Wow. Like that yeah, like I can't even imagine just like hitting the gas like that. And then yeah, like you know like the tour you're talking about is like the tour where y'all went like all over the country and all over the world shit, right?
Hmm.
Like
That
that's
didn't happen too long after I left college, which is crazy.
wow. And like that was and yeah, I mean like that moment, you know, like I was in college myself at that time. So like seeing, you know, like seeing the hype and seeing like I took my sister to go see y'all played Wallingford, Connecticut, I think in like 2011 or some shit. And you know and like my sister's 3 years younger than me. I drove the two of us from Purchase, New York to Wallingford and we saw that show. And just like the hype
Fire.
and like the amount of people who were in that who were just in that motherfucker was just like it was like insane to see how fast that picked up and just went, you know, like wow.
Especially to me, because as funny as everybody else, they got at least a preparation for it. You know, like
Right.
I literally went from school to bam. Like I didn't get to see any of I didn't get to go to New York and see the show. I didn't see any of that. So for me, it was like from the most regular moment to the highest moment possible in just a couple like in a year really. That it was definitely a shock for me at that time. Like I was coming just going from Inglewood to Arizona to across the world. That shit was insane.
Right, I'm sure, bro. And like you know like you know like the thing that really stuck out to me about you like within like not even just within the OF camp but just like you in general is like you were thrust into this like so quickly and it just took off and you just really hit it in stride, you know, like you know like Rolling Papers and Under the Influence happens and then like something like No Idols just kind of just like happens. And you know like first and foremost just want to say it, like that really formative project for me. Like I can't tell you how many times I listened to that shit in my dorm. That's like a really that like I got the vinyl somewhere over there, like I'm the one that you and Alk just put out. Like that's such an incredibly special project to me. And not just because the music's super dope, but like because I know it just turned 10 last year and y'all did
Right,
the thing this year, but like you were one of the first people to have one of those Alchemist tapes. It was like you, Prodigy, and Currency, and
right,
like you know, like you were you know if you weren't the first, but you were one of the first, and
right,
it's really crazy to see like how that's just become like a staple now. Like you know, like everyone's got an Alchemist tape now, you know,
right,
and like
right,
and you know, like I mean, like Alchemist was already like Alchemist was already fucking large at that point, but like he was just starting to kind of redefine himself. And you know,
of
like
course.
you being one of the first that he chose to do that with is just like wow. So like just because I've been thinking about No Idols a lot, like how did that happen? How did y'all connect? And did you have any idea that this project was gonna have the legs it did and reach as many people as it has? Like
At the time, no, like it was so real to me. Like I'm not gonna lie, that shit kind of came together on the craziest way possible. Like obviously, like my manager at the time, Chris Clancy and Alchemist have a relationship back in the day. As he was like the A&R at Interscope, the head A&R,
mm,
and him and Al just ran across paths doing the Eminem stuff, doing the G-Unit stuff. You know what I'm saying? Al was around a lot, so they had a relationship already. But the funny part is that's not what even made it happen. Like I was at Al's house with Chuck English a long time ago. Like he had two studios in his crib, and Chuck English was like, "Yo, I want to play you some beats. Like, pull up. That's my boy." So like, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna slide on you." He was over at Al's studio, and for some reason, he had to slide early one day or something. But he had dipped out, and I was like packing my stuff up to leave, and I could just hear Al playing beats in the other room. So I kind of just walked in introduced myself, and I was hella cool. Like, you know, like we were just chopping it up. He was just playing some beats, and I remember I didn't know if I was gonna get on anything or anything. I was not even there for that, but I was just writing because that's when I hear beats, stuff come to my mind. And I kind of was like mumbling under my breath. Obviously, I'm writing. And he was like, "Yo, you got something for that?" I remember him asking me that, and I was like, "Oh shit, man. Shit, I might." So I had like rhymed and shit, and it was like we had did prophecy. Like one of the first like things we ever did was prophecy off that tape. And I think that he like really liked the shit and found out. Obviously, I mean, he knew who I was like once I introduced myself because like I said, him and Clancy had that relationship. But yeah, like I kind of just walked in there one day and just introduced myself, and the first song came out of that, and then it just led to that project being made, which is crazy. For
Like,
me, that was surreal. Like I used to drive around listening to First Infantry like all day, especially even in Arizona before I came back to LA. Like I used to smack that CD like front to back. It's like to me that was crazy. Like I think even at one point I had sent him a text like, "Oh shit, I'm really here working with the Alchemist." I sent it to him instead of the homie. Like that's how I think that's how crazy I was going. I was like, "This shit crazy."
oh, that's funny as hell. Damn. And just like, and yeah, like once again, that sounds like something that just came together so fast, you know, and like that, and like to consider like that project to me is like it's really lean. It goes by super quick, but not in like a like it doesn't feel like it's missing nothing. It's just like it just flows and then it's over. You know, like even like re-listening to it and like also like seeing how much of it got onto DSPs because like you know like we have this conversation all the time like people in general just like how many classic tapes get put up on DSPs and there's like a sample missing or a song sounds
Right,
completely
right,
different.
right,
There's
right.
like this sounds virtually untouched outside of like a handful like little like it's more like transitional things that like make each song kind of like a begin and end different but like this is virtually untouched from when it first dropped and that's really
Yeah.
nuts to me, you know.
I think it's what took it so long to get up too, because we fought for it not to be one of those things that was like fucked up or touched by like I can't even tell you how many albums I turned on like that and was disappointed by a certain song. Like I'll just stream this off of that pit for something because it's no
Exactly,
way like yeah, it's no way I could listen to that version. So I wanted to get as far away from having that effect as possible.
man. And yeah, like it's just like yeah, that like that shit just really stood the test of time, man. Like it's like every time I hear it, it sounds like it could have dropped yesterday. Like it's just one of those, you know. Like I
It's
really
so crazy to have done that long ago and been in that mindset at that time. Like I think back and been like, man, I was so far ahead of my time with that shit. Like this is really crazy that it was. You know, I'm just happy to be a part of that moment in time for real.
right. Yeah, nah, like and it's like stuff like that. People kind of gas the whole like ahead of your time thing, but like you really were ahead of your time. Like people were not trying to do Alchemist tapes like that at that point. And now like 10 years later it's like you know like when I reviewed you and Evidence's project and I started it with that because I was like nobody's talked about how he was one of the first to do this. And like that feels like a really important thing to note because like first and foremost your shit's dope and you deserve the shout but like it's just really like it's just incredible to me how well that project's aged and like how well you've like managed to transition and just like keep yourself through everything you've done like re-listening to Genesis and like Facade Records and like considering how different the production is on there and like how different even like your style is like you're kind of like a little more reined back on both of those projects to me and like it's like lusher and there's less samples and you know like you got a song of fucking Anderson .Paak and you two are in a fucking like roller rink in the video, you know, like that's
Right,
so
right,
far removed from all of that other shit. But like, you know,
right.
like I think like, you know, like you've always kind of been in there, you know, like you've like your music's always been introspective. Like there's always kind of like you've always been like funny and like a little goofy and silly. And like I
Right, right,
love, you
right.
know, like I love that too. But like what was talk to me about making Genesis and Facade Records and kind of transitioning away from the more like sample based stuff and kind of finding yourself in this new finding yourself in this different sound cuz like yeah, it's really cool to me.
So I during those times, it was just like an accurate reflection of where my mind was. Like, the OF thing, when Genesis, the OF thing had wound down, and I had my own personal deal for one album with Sony. And I remember, like, I kind of wanted to drive in a space of the more soulful stuff. Like I told you with my grandmother and all them when I grew up, that was the kind of the thing
Right.
that I feel like it was an ode to that time frame, like when I was doing that. And it kind of just turned itself into that body of work. I love, like I always say this, I love all my projects because when I look back, they were a stamp of exactly what's going on in my head and my mind at that time. I was signed to Sony. I had like a lot of gloss in my eyes over what things were, and I was like shooting for that sonically. Um, and I just remember like using some of those sounds and those having live musicians there, and it was just so accurate to what I was feeling. I'm like, yeah, I got to go with this. I don't really care if it's a deviation or anything like that. It just feels right to me, and I've always been of that mindset. Whatever feels right at the moment, just do it. Like this, you can worry about the results and the outcome later, but be true to exactly what you feel like. So I feel like even those times were just a time. It's like it's accurate. Every time I look back and I see one of my projects from that to Red Corolla to anything that I left those in and I said that last night. Even Red Corolla was a representative point in my solo career where I was a little bit frustrated, and even the process, like I had to switch between two engineers, two different studios, and I was doing a lot. There was so much transition going on in that project represented. It lives that way. Like you can hear a little bit of the frustration, a little bit of the angst, a little bit of like the confidence, a little bit. It's like you can feel the duality of a person in that, like me being pulled in two different directions during that project, and that's why I love it so much because it lives that way, and that's why I just try to stay accurate each time to where I'm at mentally.
I feel you, bro. And like that's beautiful. You said that about Red Corolla because like Red Corolla does kind of feel like a movie to me. Just like the way the skits bleed into all the different songs and everything. Like that feels like I mean like I don't want to gas it, but it does feel like something like a Friday, where it's just like this is just like
Right.
you just like you kind of moving through the neighborhood and shit's just happening and you're just like reporting on it. Like I can't tell you how many times I ran that song with you and Styles P into the ground. Like overthinking is just it's just like that like that to me is like late night summer, like I'm by myself after I'm like away from like a function or a party or whatever, and just like thinking, I don't know, like it's just like that, like Red Corolla feels alive to me, and like there's like like it's like one of those where it feels like when you turn it on, like a day had already passed in the life of that story before you turned it on. Like it feels like
Nah, facts.
like it feels to me like if I were to turn that off, it would still be happening.
Right,
Like
right, right, right.
and there isn't a lot of music that makes me feel that way, but like that feels lived in a really cool, like just like super, I mean like not casual, but like that just feels so well put together that it felt like you just like like it felt like you'd still be screaming about your car not starting even if I wasn't listening to it.
Facts.
you
And
know
that's
like
that's why like I kept it. I just wanted to keep it accurate. Like it was just a perfect reflection. Like that car, that time, all that shit just represented a transition. So I was like, it's glad I'm happy to hear that it felt that way to you, just because that's what was actually put into it. You know what I mean? Like that's it. It really was that.
you still have that car or not?
I do, and it's in my garage right now. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with it, but it was my first car ever, and it's like I've had three or four cars since then, but I cannot get rid of that car. Like I still got it.
That's beautiful, man. I love that. That's so good. Um, and then like you're talking about just like accuracy and just like and just kind of leaning into what works best. What about everything that happened with you and Evidence? Y'all's two projects. Like, how did that start? And then like that's obviously like a pretty sharp turn back into stuff that you had kind of been doing before, at least like sonically. Like like there isn't much of a change lyrically to me, but like like what inspired you and Ev to kind of link up and do your thing?
I felt like it was like when I got back with Ev, there was a void and a little bit of like the meanness of what I was doing, and I wanted to get back to the point. Like I had a when, so I always say this: Ev was a big person in this. Like this whatever's going on in my career right now, though I call it the renaissance, but whatever is happening right now, he was a big like component in making that happen. Like he instilled a lot in me over the time that we've been working. Like he and I got like a really crazy relationship. But he pushed me a lot. Like on the first one we linked up and I think we were kind of like still trying to figure out our footing around each other, but we knew that there was like a lot of chemistry there. We had fun making that project. But on the second one, we were comfortable with each other enough because I had been hanging with him even when we didn't have projects out so
Right.
much. Like I had been pulling up over there every day and just hearing game and hearing like advice and hearing this and like Ev is one of those people that tell it to you the way that it is. Like he don't sugarcoat shit. And sometimes he'll pry into where you'll like you guys will butt heads, but it's like it's all in good faith, and it's like a lot of that shit made me a better person and a better rapper, like seeing things differently. Like we became like, because I met him during those No Idols days, and we wasn't that close then, just be like, oh, what up, yeah, my boy, like. But I think I went over to his studio just a couple times and like we just connected and like the more cool we got with each other, I think the more like he didn't pull punches, and I think it just left me in a better place just to hear the truth a lot, like to hear that and to hear like what I'm saying, this is what you're faced with, this is your deck of cards you're playing with, so you got to play like this, you got to be strategic, you can't just play like you got this in your hand and this and you don't have it, and just to hear shit like that. And then like once we got into the process of intros, he took that from just a mindset to he pushed my pen as well. He's like, you got to become better. He's like, yeah, you knew how to do this. If you're gonna come back to do this type of music, we got to do it in a way that's gonna show that you have this or you have that. And man, he just pushed me. Like I became a better rapper during those times. I feel like intros was just a real pivotal moment in me seeing this thing again the way that I needed to be looking at it. Like that, it really kind of renewed my lease on everything. From that point, I kind of just took the ball and started running as fast as I could.
Right. And yeah, like that, like that's so apparent to me from like the first song on there. Just like, like you're not, like it's not like a showy album, like either on the production or a lyrical front, but like you sound like really, like you sound like confident and you sound like I'm here, I'm standing on this. This is who I am. This is what I
Right,
rep. And like another thing that really got me was like, this is, like you would kind of been you've been so consistent over the course of the last decade that like you once again like you kind of you were doing this stuff back in 2012, but it obviously didn't sound like a rehash or nothing like that. It just sounded like you had refined yourself to the point where you were ready to kind of come at this particular style in a way that like had started to bubble up again around like 2017, 2018 type shit.
correct.
And like like you and then the thing that really got me was to see you, Navy Blue, Boldy James, and Remy Banks all on the same project, because y'all are four people who all stuck to your convictions, did your shit, were doing it before it was cool, before it was like the thing everybody wanted to do, and then all of y'all were on a project together. And I was like, like I saw that on the track list, and I was like, wow, like this is really like it's really and like we all know what's been going on with Sage. Like Sage has also been on here, just to be transparent. Like Sage,
Okay,
shout out to Sage, he's amazing. He's the homie. Like but like Sage has been doing what he's been doing. Boldy James has been having a crazy last 2-3 years. Like Remy put out the Phantom of Paradise, and that project's super dope. And he's
right.
been going at it since the World's Fair days. But like the four of y'all together like that on a project was, to me, just like a testament to like sticking to your guns, and like you're still gonna be here if you're authentic and genuine and just make shit that connects with people. And like
And
that
see,
was
like
yeah.
Ev had the vision on that. He knew that too. Like when we were picking features and we were sorting through things, he was like, "Let's make it make sense to what we're doing, like to the story, to all that. Like that all goes hand in hand." So for you to have felt that, like that was definitely a part of the plan. It wasn't by chance.
Yeah, nah, and that was just really slick, like that was another thing I hadn't seen people really key in on, and I'm like, this is, like this is special because of that. And like that's
Right,
and then like we move on to What You Don't Get with you and Graymatter. And like like once again it's just kind of like like it sounds like it's all been building to this, to me. Like y'all have such like y'all have such great chemistry, and like like Graymatter's got his whole thing going on. The Mutant Academy, like they've been, like Mutant Academy's been going crazy for the last 6-7 years. And like, like the thing, like the difference between a project like that and the two that you did with Evidence is like Evidence is a legend. We all know who he is. We all know what he's done. But it's just like you and Graymatter are getting a chance to kind of like create and craft your own legacy and just be like, this is us running with that sound, but in our own way, which I thought was
Right.
super dope. So like, how did you and Graymatter first link up, and where did the idea for What You Don't Get come from? Because yeah.
So to be real, like I had found out that Graymatter produced Unlearning for Ed. Like Ed, that was my favorite song, right? Like just in general, like off that project. And I never asked who produced it. I just assumed it was Ed for some reason. I don't know why. Something's like something told me like, yeah, Ed produced that. Don't ever ask about it. Like I don't know what it was that told me that. But like I
Right.
just assumed that, like, so I just never asked. And then like I remember Remy had put out a song with Graymatter. And I had heard a couple of his beats before, but like I kind of wasn't too familiar with him in Mutant Academy yet. I had seen him around Evs and stuff like that. But like Unlearning being my favorite thing, and then hearing that Remy track, and I'm like, damn, this beat's crazy as fuck, right? And then I remember one day I was at his studio, and he was like, yeah, Graymatter made this beat, and I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, like I was like the Unlearning beat. He was like, I swear that was you. He was like, no, that's a Graymatter beat. And I remember like hitting him up that day. I'm like, hey, bro, this is my favorite fucking song. Like, this whole time I didn't know that you produced it. Shit. Like, I literally didn't know that. And it's funny, he had just moved. They had just moved to LA when I hit him up. So I didn't think that either. I thought he was gonna be in VA, but I had hit him up. They had just moved out here. He was like, yeah, like pull up on me, bro. And like, since he's familiar with Rim, and Rim is my brother, man. And then like since Ev as well is my brother. So like since he's familiar with him, I'm like, okay, he must be good family, you know what I'm saying? So I had linked up at the studio with him in just the same way, just a couple of days. We ended up making a whole bunch of shit. Like I just think we bonded over like laughing at the same jokes and them being like having a collective and asking me like what's it take to do yada yada, and like we kind of just bonded over that type of shit. And the shit that we was making out the gate was fire. I don't know, it just kind of went from there. It was very easy. Like a lot of different things. Like even with Ed, like we were slow to work, but when we worked, it was good. But with Gray, it was literally like crack out the vial. It was really crazy.
Yeah, man. Like just just listening to this, like once again, it kind of gave me that like No Idols feel, where it's like a really quick project. Like it's like kind of like it kind of catches me off guard how fast it goes by, but it just like
Mhm.
it just feels so natural. Like yeah, just like I've been stuck on Rick Fox and This Too Shall Pass. Like those two, I come back to those two a lot, and that's like
Remy went crazy on this too, so man. He really
yeah,
did go
man.
crazy.
Yeah, bro. Like it's just like the chemistry's there, and y'all had like y'all have been kind of like developing y'all sounds separately, but it's just like it just comes because like when I remember when I first heard the announcement, I was like, oh, Domo and Graymatter, like it just like made sense. Like I had never thought to put y'all two together, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is just something that could have happened. Like it was just like this, I've been waiting for this, even though I hadn't been waiting for it.
We
You know,
worked on something crazy recently too. I'll send you a couple things personally to listen to, but we got a wild next one. Like I don't know what we doing, but it just kind of like the recording process just didn't stop after we dropped that. So we got a whole like leftover like 14, 15 songs. So,
bro.
we'll figure it out. But I definitely want to let you hear some stuff.
Please, bro. Like I appreciate you trusting me enough for that. And I just
Oh,
gotta
for
say
sure.
too, like I haven't met him yet, but like shout out to Graymatter. He's like he's so crazy with it. Him and Kahuna put out a project this year
Hmm.
too called Metal Gear Solid that everyone should like. People be sleeping on Kahuna, man. He's so nuts with it. Go
Man,
listen to
he
Metal Gear
nice.
Solid. Like he's yeah, nah, like all of them, man. Like I've talked to Frank quite a few times. Like that's my man. And like one of the things I remember he told me early on around the time he put out the Lex album of his self-titled was like, like Mutant Academy was never meant to be like, like a platform for him to just like go off and do his own thing. He didn't even think he was going to be the one who blew. And he's just like, they're all just waiting for, like like everyone within that gets their own turn. Like Frank's doing
Right.
his thing, Graymatter's producing for fucking Conway and Griselda
Right.
now,
Right.
like fucking like Kahuna's on his way up, Henny Lowe's doing his thing, like
Right.
just like all of them. I could sit here and list names, but just like everyone in and involved with Mutant Academy is just like, like branching out in ways that like it was kind of like seeing OF kind of, like y'all started branching out and like
Yeah,
doing
shout
your
out to
own
them.
things,
Like it's not even like I fuck with them as a unit and all of them individually. They all solid
Yeah,
people too. So shout out to all of them.
yeah. No, they're all great. Been super support, and like not even just because they've been supportive, but like the music's dope. Like they just like
Oh yeah.
they made something that people connect with, and like to kind of wrap this up, one thing that's been really beautiful to see is like you talking about giving them advice and stuff, like you've been through all of this before, like like OF had its like crazy insane high peak, and you kind of had to find yourself in the middle of that, and instead of kind of falling to the wayside, you stuck to your guns, you kept making stuff that kept connecting with people, and here you are now, like
Right.
10 years, like the OF tape volume 2 is like what, like 10 years old at this point,
Right.
some shit like that. So like 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 you stood the test of time. I mean, like everyone's gonna talk about Tyler and Tebe and Sid and everybody, but like like you you never lost yourself, and you stuck to what you started with, and it came all the way back around and turned into the thing that everybody wanted to do, and now you're big bro, and that's like
Yes.
like
And that's
that's
exactly why
yeah,
I stuck that flag in the ground, why I called the tour that. Like, nah, man, like I really do feel like I did the groundwork, man. Like I feel like OF has such, I always say this, man. I feel like people think that I say it and they don't understand the truth behind it sometimes. Like OF had this hierarchy that like both hurt and help sometimes, like the labels they placed on me lived way longer than they should have, and it was just an internal OF thing, like there was this like
right,
he was this guy or these guys were the guys that worked and the rest of this. And I felt like I combated that so long, and I was just like you said, trying to be consistent. I was just trying to stay like, okay, you can say this, but I'm gonna come back with this, or I'm gonna do this. And I just say like, man, hard work pays. Like I really just put a lot of work in. I really just kept at it, didn't waver on my mentality at any point. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, the thing just turned in a way that I needed it to at the time that I needed it to. And it was like I'm just grateful to be able to, be here and some of my things like last night to be celebrated by people, like to for them to be like, yeah, everything you did was like, worth it. It's inspirational. And it's like it's just everybody got a different journey, man. I'm grateful for the one that I've been on. Like it's just being fruitful now and it's great.
right, man. And like between the music and like the label and just like the clothing and just like everything, it's like all these projects that you've managed to like to jump off and to like like kind of have it culminate with this tour, like your first like nationwide tour in like a long time,
Right.
like it was like it really did my heart good to see that announcement, because I remember being kind of salty when you didn't tour Genesis. I was like, I want to hear this live. And I think
Right.
and, like I was like, like every year I would think like, damn, I haven't seen Dom's play since like 2013. Like when's it, like like me and my partner, like that was our first show we ever went to, was y'all's Mellow High show. Like
That's crazy, man.
we had just started dating when
That's
y'all
so
toured us.
crazy.
Like
That's so crazy.
right. So like it's crazy. They still have your fucking hi hat. Like it's like on the wall somewhere in their apartment right now. Like
That's
that's
so
like
crazy.
like that's like like that's how special your music's been to me personally.
Man, I appreciate
So
that, bro. I've always
yeah.
appreciated you like periodically tapping in with me and everything that you've done to support it, bro. I'm 100% like just grateful for the shit that you did too, bro. Don't think that shit goes without saying. Like I appreciate a lot of it for real.
Oh man, I don't do that for props. I do it because the music's great and you're a solid dude, and it's just really
Appreciate
been,
that, brother.
like I said, it's just really like I can't tell you how many people we've seen just like catch a spark and then it's gone in 3 4 years, and like you
Fact.
really like you stood the like standing the test of time was already hard before, but now where it's just like like there's 100,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day and like
Right.
catching anybody's ear is like it's so hard. Like even with this podcast, like I've been doing this for like almost 3 years now, and I only started it because I was just like bored during the pandemic, and I just needed
Right.
like y'all. I wanted somewhere. I mean, like it's a little different, of course, but like I just wanted somewhere that was mine, just like something that I could like call mine, and just like
Right.
operate how I want, and like things are modest right now, but I just appreciate anybody like I appreciate you taking the time to come talk to me. I appreciate anybody listening to this. Like I'm throwing live events and shit and people are coming to those. Like it's just
Come on, man.
like
Come
it's
on.
like I don't know, bro. It's just like I it's just like very inspiring to see you do your thing and still be here and still be like yourself. You haven't, like there hasn't been like a radical change or anything like that. The world just caught up, and like
Yeah,
that's
man. And that's you nailed that's the nail on the head right there. Like I just feel like, especially when I this year as I reintroduced those projects, man, as I put them up, like I feel like a lot of those things people were like, this is amazing. Like this is the first time I ever heard this, and it was like, man, it just gave me confirmation like I was never wrong. It just people got a chance to catch up, like you said.
yeah, like sometimes that's what it takes. And like you didn't even see it in yourself, but you just did it because it felt right. And
Correct.
you're here and shit. But to formally like wrap this up, Doms, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
Um, that's a really good question. If my life were a movie, it would have to be like one of those it would have to be like the pursuit of happiness, but half comedy. I don't know how you're gonna get that off. That's how I see it. Like the great journey, the rocky steps, with a slash how high. I don't know how you're gonna mix those things, but we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, because I was about to say how do you make Will and Jaden sleeping in the bathroom while somebody's trying to come in funny? Like that's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen in my life, man. So,
No, that might have been too sad for me to say right now.
nah. I see it. I see it. I no
You
like
see the
like
vision, you see what I'm cooking.
I see the vision, bro. Yeah, no, but yeah, no, just like the pursuit of happiness meets how high is crazy, but I
You
love
feel
that.
me?
I
Yeah.
think I think that's great. We don't have enough comedies right now, and we could use more. So I love that. That's great, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
Yo, Doms, like I can't like this is a special moment, not only because we're talking again, but because this is the season 3 finale. It means a lot that you came through for this. Like, thank you
Hell yeah.
so much. Like,
Yes, sir. I
honestly.
gotta come. I gotta come back too. This ain't gonna be the only one I do for sure.
All right, bro. I mean, yeah, nah. Like, I don't just have anybody come back on. So if you're down to come back, we can make it happen at some point.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna watch hella movies. I'm gonna watch hella movies. I'm gonna start writing and profiling them Jones down so we can get to it.
Yeah, nah. Send me your letterbox when you make it, bro.
All right, bet that.
Hell yeah. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.